This was an accidental segue when I said like the angles, but Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin, Kurt Angle's last match ever. I know that this is one we're gonna both very intently watch because we've been. I don't disagree with you that Kurt Angle's looked slower, and the only thing that I differ with is I think it's been a work, and I think he's actually. I'm not gonna say he's as good as he was back in like 2006 to like 2012, and then maybe even the last like 5 years he's still been really good. All of a sudden in WWE he's looked really slow though. That seems a little too fishy to me that all of a sudden he slowed down. So I think that that match is going to be interesting because we're going to finally see who was right and who was wrong. To be fair, I could still be right, but maybe Angle has a bad match. But you know,
Yeah. He's better than this. It was a stinker. But it's not Angle's fault. He was in there with Corbin. Corbin
yeah,
sucks.
we've
Yeah.
agreed that. Also, to be we've been giving Corbin a lot of grief. I think Corbin's very talented, and I think Corbin's gotten much better as he's gone on. I just don't think that he's the guy that Angle should face. Is the only thing I think that's what most people have an issue with. I don't think people dislike Corbin. I think people dislike the fact that Angle isn't fighting against someone for nostalgic purposes. But
Yeah.
I'll let you go first with that one. I think we might differ on the result of this one.
I think this match somehow breaks down as some sort of chaotic whatever, but at the end of the day, Angle wins it. I know that in a lot of cases when guys leave WWE, they leave taking the pin and putting somebody else over. I think Corbin's going to be over as a heel anyway. The way that they've done this with so many other guys available for matches, like John Cena could have been one choice, Kevin Owens could have been one choice, AJ Styles has a match with Randy Orton, but there are other guys that might have been a better fit for Kurt Angle, and that's why Corbin's taken the heat. And as a result, whether he wins or loses, he's getting that heat anyway, right? So he doesn't need to lose or win that match to get the heat coming out of it. So I think just out of respect for Kurt Angle, they give him the win. Whether that's a clean win or a win that comes from somebody else. A few weeks back, I said I could see a bunch of wrestlers coming down just to show how much they don't like Corbin and how much they respect Angle. I could still see that happening. It could go a million different ways and turn into Angle doesn't necessarily win clean or what have you, but I think he gets the win.
Maybe Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas come out and help him.
I'd love that. I'd be all over Team Angle, coming back and doing that. That would be cool.
So I think that Corbin wins, but I could also see an angle where Angle wins. Again, no pun intended. I can see Angle winning, and then Corbin humbly shakes his hand, and that's a face turn. But I don't want that. I think Corbin's a really good heel. I think the WWE doesn't have enough good heels, and Corbin, he has the heat built on him. So why would you build up all this heat and then just take it away?
Yeah,
I think Corbin wins, and then Angle gets like a send off after the match where he gets to like walk out. Maybe the whole like locker room comes out and like, hoist him on the shoulders or something. But I could also see a thing where Angle wins and then confetti falls. So it's tough. I think I'm going to have to go with Corbin on this one.
Well, I definitely don't see any situation. I can't even imagine or fathom the idea that Corbin turns somehow into a babyface. I can't see a situation where they would choose to go that route, because not only if he wins does he get a ton of heel heat out of it, but if he loses, when he loses his matches, he loses like a whiny baby, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I wasn't ready for this. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's on his bum, crawling up the ramp, facing everybody, just scattering away. Like it's never his fault. He's always whatever. Like that's part of what makes him such a good heel, is that win or lose, he feels he was wronged. So I don't see a situation where he turns around and says, "All right, maybe I was wrong. Maybe you are, the legend that everybody says you are. Here we go," and then leaves. It doesn't leave Corbin in a workable spot for me, so I just don't see how they would do that.
That's fair. Let's go to the let's change the gears here. Go tag team. Let's talk about the 4-way women's tag team match. So you've got the Iconics versus Sasha and Bayley, the Boss and Hug connection. We have Beth Phoenix and Natalya, who's kind of a little nostalgia act. They finally get a chance to team together because obviously there's no reason for that to have happened when Beth Phoenix was an active competitor. And you have Nia Jax and Tamina. I can see this match only going one way, and that's the Iconics winning.
That's because it's what you want, or you can't figure out another way that anyone else would win? Because the way that you just said that, you could only see this going one way. Like, you think there's only one outcome that's possible?
One outcome that's plausible, that's logical. Sasha Banks and Bayley are fine, and they were the first. I love both of them individually, and I think they were a good first tag team, like an inaugural team. I don't know why you'd want to keep them as a tag team for the long run. I think the Iconics are the only legitimate team in this that haven't been thrown together like last second. Beth Phoenix isn't an active competitor. She's not going to be here past WrestleMania. Sorry, folks. And I also am not a big fan of Natalia. I think she's talented. Just for one reason or another, I can never get behind her. It's just my own personal gripes, I guess. Don't dislike her. Just get very bored when she's in the ring. And I don't see how Nia Jax or Tamina could win. I don't see that because I don't want it. And I also just don't know why they would give Tamina a championship at this point.
I'm the opposite of you in the fact that I think that Bayley and Sasha Banks are the choice, the probable option. Okay. Just because they are the two probably most recognized names in this match. You know, they're the first tag team champions. They haven't had it that long. They were probably chosen by WWE to first represent the WWE Tag Team Women's Champions because of the things that they did when they fought each other and how they sort of elevated that women's revolution and stuff like that. I can see WWE giving those guys not the longest run in history, obviously, because it's the first time they've had these titles, and anything they do at this point is record-breaking. But I think a little longer. What I want to have happen is what you think is the plausible option, which is I want the Iconics to win. I love those two. I think they are entertaining, super annoying, but in a really cool way. I think they do some really subtle stuff that I love, and I could see them cheating to win. Does WWE do it yet? I don't know, but I hope they do. That would be really cool. If I had my choice, it would be the Iconics. If I had to bet money on it, it would be Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Let's say tag teams then. Let's go to the SmackDown. It's also a fatal four-way match. You've got the Usos defending against the Bar, obviously Sheamus and Cesaro, Ricochet and Aleister Black, and Rusev and Shinsuke. So one of those teams is a tag team. One of those teams was a thrown together team that actually became a pretty good tag team in the Bar. And two of those teams are just thrown together individuals that really don't have any business being in the tag team division. Not that I haven't been entertained by Black and Ricochet. It's just I don't really see why they're together. I think we've talked about that and we've touched upon it a numerous amount of times. Even on this show, it's kind of just thrown together because, well, there's too many people and there's already so many matches, so let's at least get them on the card. I can see Black and Ricochet winning just because, but I think the Usos retain.
Yeah. Of these four teams, the only team that would actually surprise me if they won is the Bar.
Really? I was going to say Shinsuke and Rusev.
Well, no, here's why I say that. I'm not sure how many fans know it, but Rusev is on his way right now. If he loses this match, he will break the record for the longest streak of losses on a pay-per-view consecutively. So it'll be like 18 or something, that he has not won a match on a pay-per-view. 18 in a row. Well, here's what so normally you would say, well, there's no way he's going to win then. They're going to give him that record, right? Well, hold your horses. This is the kind of thing that WWE would do, right? Whether it's actual built-up frustration towards Rusev or the two don't get whatever it is, I could see them not letting him have that. You know, like if you're not going to win the tag team titles, well, the next best thing is to be in the record books for something totally out there, and this would give Rusev that accolade. Maybe they don't want to give him that accolade, and so it wouldn't shock me to see him win just so he couldn't have that record, which is petty and childish and silly, but I could see them doing it. Ricochet and Aleister Black, for reasons that we've talked about, being thrown together, but being very hot and very, they haven't really lost a match since they've made their way to the main roster as a tag team. The Usos make sense to me because they just, it's reported that they've just signed contract extensions, and usually teams are rewarded for that. And they're one of the best tag teams in the last 5 years in the WWE. So that doesn't shock me. The Bar is the one team in that, it's like the Sesame Street, one of these things is not like, that's the one team that sort of just stands out for me and says, I can't see them winning it. But it's a toss-up for me. I don't know who's going to walk away from this one. I'll pick the Usos, but I really don't know.
Okay, and there's no way you think that the Bar can win it?
No, I think they could. And I would be okay with it. And I think that they're for a team that was thrown together, like you said, they're awesome. Yeah. I just think there are too many other variables with these other teams that don't make, for me, logical sense that you would pick the Bar out of these four. The Bar is a really good tag team that will still be a really good tag team when this is over, whether they win or lose, and they'll have that respect. But I think there are other behind-the-scenes things going on with these other teams that would tell me there may be a reason to lean in their direction, where the Bar has nothing to gain or lose.